Welcome to this week's Rooney Toon Report. This week's episode is brought to you by the letter P.
And what does the letter P stand for?
I'm glad you asked, Chris. This week, the letter P stands for Pickett, Pickens, Picks, and play calling.
Well, as you can see, I am for Pickett. He brought the spark to the team last week, and who else has 2 touchdowns scored? Nobody. Pickett is the only one that has scored 2 touchdowns this entire season.
All right, I'm not just going to talk about Pickett. I'm going to talk about how this team clearly did not want to play for Trubisky. At one point, you could literally see the offensive lineman just standing. Najee Harris averaged 3 yards a carry with Trubisky in, 5 yards a carry with Pickett in. What's the difference? They just played harder. So why? If that's how it was going to be, then you should have rolled with Pickett week 1. You should have never signed Trubisky. If you were going to sell out and draft Pickett in the first round, no matter what, they were probably going to trade up if some team was going to try and take him earlier. This was their guy. It was clear and obvious that this is their guy, and they knew it all along. So signing Trubisky was a waste of time. You would have been better off signing a veteran quarterback such as Tyrod Taylor, or you could have brought in Ryan Fitzpatrick or even Alex Smith into the room as more of a veteran leadership guy and just rolled with Pickett from day one. And I like that Pickett commanded the offense and that he got the team fired up. But why did we wait? Why did we hold that back? Why did we name Mitch a captain? Why?
Matt, the letter W was last week. But anyways, my big thing is, okay, yeah, as Mike Tomlin put it, they needed a spark. But it was clear as day, when you factor in the environment and you factor in where you're, just like I said, the environment where you're playing, the fans clearly wanted Pickett. It was the same way before with Rudolph. Rudolph entered the game, you lost the entire stadium. No one wanted him in there. And, I mean, you can even go back to when Michael Vick was backing up, and the couple of times he had to go in there and play. The team didn't want to play for him. Same thing goes for Rudolph. Same thing goes for Trubisky. The team just wasn't there. And you didn't have the fan support. I mean, that place lit up. And you look at the defense was fired up about it. And that's the thing. A change in quarterback shouldn't change your whole team. It shouldn't make the special teams play harder. It shouldn't make the defense now play harder. But yet they looked like a completely different team at half just because they had a different quarterback. Now, my big thing is going to be, as we go down the road here, is that, okay, so what kind of NFL film do we have on Pickett? Preseason. That's about it. Now we have half a game's worth of film on him. So teams are still, it's honestly, if I was a defensive coordinator right now trying to, for Buffalo, you could watch his college footage, but in all reality, his college ball and his pro ball are probably not going to be very similar. Yes, he's a mobile quarterback. However, he's not going to play the same he did in Pitt. So now you have, Buffalo's kind of the wild card here right now. They don't know what kind of quarterback they're coming up against. Every week that we get out of here. So my guess is that, we may see some instant success with this. One, we're already seen as the underdogs. So we don't know how the Bills are going to go into that game thinking the Steelers are 1-3. We could sleep on them, or they could go in and kick our ass. Who knows? But it's one of those things where, with Pickett, I would say up until the bye week, people are going to be still trying to figure him out about what kind of ball he's going to play. Now, from the Steelers' point of view and our god-awful, terrible offensive coordinator,
I said we were going to not cut each other off, but you're not shutting up. And I wanted to just say, Did you notice on the sideline, Pickett was coming onto the field, and you could see somebody was yelling at him from the sideline, and he turned and was like, yeah, whatever. I assume that was the I'm going to call my own play.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I mean, let's go into play calling at this point. He immediately could audible whatever he wanted. Trubisky had one hand tied behind his back, sometimes both hands tied behind his back, trying to throw the ball.
Do you think that was Trubisky just being afraid to audible?
I don't think part of it was Trubisky being afraid to audible.
But I don't think he was allowed fully either. Like, I think there were certain plays that he was told just go with
I'm willing to bet a lot of money Pickett wasn't allowed to audible either, but he said, fuck that. Now, at the same time, the reason that I didn't want Pickett to start so early is that he's clearly not ready to play in the NFL. He was snapping the ball and straight up turning around and running backwards. He also, I mean, he looked one read and then ran. The reason that he scored 2 touchdowns is because he didn't wait to throw. He just took a running lane and just ran for it, which works if you're scoring touchdowns, but that's not a great way for long-term success.
Unless you're Lamar Jackson, then that's the whole offense.
Yeah, how's his contract going?
Yeah, well, he's a running back, so he's aging out. But, I mean, my whole thing is that, like, the first drive Pickett's in, we go for it on 4th down. Where was that?
Yeah, why can't you go for it on 4th down? You could have done that last week and probably won the game against the Browns.
Oh, easily. And it was just the overall play calling. Like, you know, I mean, I'll get into George Pickens, you know, my fantasy player of the year, also rookie of the year. He's just working on it. He's getting better every week. You know, he was snatching balls out of the air like they were nothing. And Pickett, Trubisky was hitting them too. I mean, but Pickett was just throwing them to him, and he was just snatching them. And I'm like, I don't know if he had a lot of time to work with him in practice or what, but it's one of those things where it's like, it just seemed like he had so much more freedom in the offense than what Trubisky ever had.
He just had more command of the offense. I think he just decided that he was going to take command of the offense, which I think is a great trait. But again, I think a little bit more time on the bench and just practicing in the NFL would have done him a lot of good.
I almost feel like
I don't think playing against the number 1 team in the AFC is going to be a great plan.
But I mean, I almost feel like he has that. Do you feel like? And I don't know if you guys agree with me, but do you feel like Pickett kind of came into the game with that gunslinger attitude? Like, I'm going to throw it up there. I'm going to try to make plays. And I mean, typical with gunslingers. You look at Brett Favre. He didn't exactly have the greatest interception to touchdown ratio. You look at Ben was considered a gunslinger. He didn't have the greatest ratio. I mean, you know, I would label him as that. He kind of came in there with that gunslinger motion.
I mean, the good part about a gunslinger mentality is at least our games aren't going to be like the Broncos and Colts games.
That's just been the last like 3 years.
Yeah, well, so that actually kind of leads into something that I wanted to talk about. Points scored. So you know the last time the Steelers scored over 30 points and won a game?
When was that?
It was at November 15th, 2020. The last time we scored 30 points, we lost, was last year, November 21st, 2021, against the Chargers.
I remember that game.
But our offense, we need to score more points. Like, we're putting too much pressure on our defense, and we need to score over 30 points more often.
I mean, if you look at the second half, if we continue this momentum of Pickett, hate to go back to the gunslinger method, but it's one of those things where if over the course of a whole game, I think we could see 30 points from our offense if we're going to be throwing it around. But the defense needs to be ready for a quick turnover like that, because if we're throwing it around, we got a lot of young players out there, especially I'll tell you the big thing that killed us in this last game was just tip passes. We had 4 interceptions in that game, and 3 of them were off tip passes. And that's something that you gotta either catch the ball or you gotta snuff it into the ground.
I don't think we need to necessarily have a gunslinger or score 30 points a game. But what we need to do, and I think maybe since Pickett can unlock a whole new level of the offense, like the intermediate passing game, is that we can have extended drives. And those drives will take time and let the defense stay rested, because we have a defense that can hold teams to, less than 20 points. To where if we only score a couple points, and maybe if we're only getting into field goal range, where we get into our beer crack player of the week, because he just set a new record for longest field goal in Heinz Field history. And that's right, it's Heinz Field still. So let's get into that beer crack player of the week, Chris Boswell.
It's got a good name.
9-yarder.
With a name like Chris, I mean,
it has to be good.
Got to be good.
He broke his own record for longest field goal in Heinz Field history of 56, and he kicked a 59-yarder.
And he had plenty of room on that.
And he's the only one who kicks 55 plus in Heinz Field and actually makes a kick.
Oh, yeah.
And there's been some good kickers. I mean, we've had Jeff Reed.
Yep.
His long was 53. And then we had, Justin Tucker's been playing in Heinz Field for how long? And he's never kicked. He's never kicked well over 50 yards in Heinz Field.
Well,
I'm sure Justin Tucker probably has more games in Heinz Field for a non-Steelers player.
Yeah, I mean, for how long he's been around.
Yeah. And you look at how many playoff runs they had that came through Pittsburgh, too.
And then just the plethora of other kickers who have kicked 60-plus yard field goals. The fact that that's never happened in Heinz Field, but Chris Boswell is kicking these longer field goals, he's a special kicker.
Yeah.
Let's move on to sports betting.
We are done.
You don't want to talk about the picks?
The picks.
I already did talk
We're talking about the picks. So, fuck that guy. Let's talk about play calling a little bit
just
more.
5 cents a day, you can chip in to help pay this jackass out of his contract.
Yeah, speaking of 5 cents a day, for the love of God, quit sending Claypool deep. When we threw that Hail Mary at the end, I was like, we have a shot as long as Claypool is not on this goddamn field. And sure enough, who did the ball go to? Claypool. 6'3" Claypool could not jump higher than 5'10", whatever the hell the defensive back's name was. All he had to do was stand up. Somehow, when he jumps, his vertical, he's 6'3" with a 5'6" vertical. How do you do that?
I don't know why wouldn't you target Pickens?
Why wouldn't you? I would have put Pickens on one side and Freiermuth on the other side.
Actually, you know who I would have sent deep? Mika Fitzpatrick. He would have got that ball.
That's not a bad idea.
That's really not a bad idea.
I'm telling you, I said this. I said it. We're all sitting there watching the game, and I'm like, why is Mika not on the hands team at this point? You send him down, tell him to go get the ball, and he's not afraid to go fight for it.
We've seen that before. I mean, we've seen that on the flip side where,
wide receivers go on the hands team on the defense.
Yeah, where you would put Pickens out there so he can get a pick on it. If you're gonna do a jump ball, put your best jumpers out. Claypool, when you say jump, Claypool dives. And I don't want to blame Claypool for the fact that he can't do something when there is something that he does very well, and that is called end arounds, slant passes, short routes. He could be a very effective weapon if you keep him close. And if you move him to a running back role.
And he's kind of like a Cordell Patterson.
Exactly.
He's big enough that he can take a hit and run around people, but he's not good at just going. Well,
he's somewhere between Deebo Samuels and Cordell Patterson, where he could run a little bit more routes than Cordell Patterson, but he belongs as a running back, tight end almost.
Yeah.
Because he can box out linebackers, make a catch. He can make a contested catch when there's a linebacker bearing down on him. But God forbid, there's a guy who's half his size who might jump. Maybe he has depth perception issues. He can't see that far. Can't see the ball coming. I don't care. Don't send him more than 10 yards down the field. He does not belong in the intermediate and deep passing game.
He
So
probably
with Trubisky.
You could probably see the depth perception as good as we could see your hands just now.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, these are his hands when you go deep.
You disappear.
It's just a Madden glitch.
It's what it looks like. It's, he goes like the ball just hits him in the chest every time.
Yeah.
But if you throw it short to him, he makes the catch. If you got 3rd and 5, he's getting the first down. So know your role in the offense.
Right.
And Tomlin needs to recognize what he can do in this offense and stop screwing our drives. He's a drive killer when you throw him deep. You're wasting a down.
I think, honestly...
And especially, you have George Pickens who can go deep.
I mean,
you have George Pickens who can go 50 yards down the field and catch the ball with one finger. One finger. And then you got Deontay Johnson who can catch a deep ball. And Calvin Austin's coming back to practice. There is no reason to see Claypool deep.
I mean, I think overall, personnel during situational football, there has been so many times where we've been on a 3rd and long or a 3rd and short. And I'm like, why are we going out with that package? Why are those players on the field? And it makes you start wondering, like
why are we in I formation on 3rd and 15 and empty set on 3rd and 1?
But I mean, for the Jets, it worked. I mean, like they could go in I formation on 3rd and 15. They converted. But that's whatever. Anyways, but yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's one of those things where it makes you wonder who is making certain calls of who's on the field. I don't know anyone who that would be.
Do you have an itch?
Yeah, I do. It's right here. It's just right here.
Right there. You got an itch to get rid of somebody.
I do. And you know what? Fire Matt Canada. You want to fix all the offensive woes? Fire Matt Canada. At this point, let Pickett call the plays. I don't even care. Ben's obviously looking for a job. He's got opinions. Let him call the plays. Of course, he's not a big fan.
If Ben comes in, Mitch is going back in. And we can't go back.
You can't go back.
Ben wants to go back.
Do you think we trade Trubisky?
Oh, yeah, we need to. There's already been talks about it. I've been reading some articles about it.
Who's going to trade for him?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, ooh, I got an idea. What if we make a deal with Buffalo while we're already there? Like, literally, he goes to get on the bus to go to the airport. We're like, whoa. You're here. He's like, what's the trailer on the back of the bus? And we're like, all your shit.
Yeah, we're not going to trade him. He's going to be the veteran backup. There's not going to be any market.
Do you see maybe we do something next year?
What?
Do you think next year we do something, maybe try to get a better veteran backup to back him up next year?
I think that depends on how this year goes.
Yeah.
We're going to need to see some steady improvement from Pickett throughout the year.
And don't get me wrong, as much as I'm excited about Pickett playing, I still think we did Trubisky dirty.
Oh,
we did. Well, honestly, his career is done.
Yeah, we really killed his career. And I don't think he deserved that.
And it's just going to be so weird, like him being a captain. Like,
yeah, also at that point,
how many backup quarterbacks are a captain?
Yeah, strip him of his captain status at this point, because
no, don't take everything from him. Come on, you want to talk about doing him dirty? At least make him feel like,
How about making him walk out into the center of the field every week in a stadium full of people that he knows hates him? All they wanted. I've never seen a fan base so excited to watch a quarterback get benched and have the new guy come in, run 4 straight run plays, and then throw an interception. And they're like, "That's my guy! Yeah, this is so much better!" Like, no. Just let me go.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, I mean, yeah, he's a captain, but does anyone really watch coin toss?
No, but
yeah, if it's on TV when I turn it on, yeah.
Are you gonna sit there and boo your TV because Trubisky's doing the coin toss?
Well, what about if you're at the game?
I guess we'll find out.
It's just weird. It's just gonna be. It's an awkward situation.
Speaking of going to games, Fire Canada, we're totally getting that going.
We're gonna start the chant.
Yep, we got this.
Let's just move on and get into some sports bets.
Fire My Canada.
All right. Do you just want me to start into this?
Yeah, it's your stuff.
You're
right. All right. We're starting off in London. We got the Packers and Giants. There's no money to be made here. Packers are gonna win, but minus 390. Screw that. And I don't like the spread.
I got the Giants.
You got the Giants?
The Giants have the Packers number.
Is Daniel Jones playing?
I don't care.
Who's the quarterback?
The Giants
Who's the Giants quarterback?
I don't care. Giants have one less time zone to travel.
Because that makes a difference when you're traveling 6 or 5 hours.
It does. Makes a huge difference. Matt, you and I drove.
How about if you have a Hall of Fame quarterback or you can't name the quarterback?
Really? I mean, you really want to call Aaron Rodgers a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yeah.
He has won Super Bowl, a big-ass attitude, and he's won the MVP because it's rigged. Go for it.
Well, just because the MVP's rigged doesn't mean he's not going to the Hall of Fame, which I have a whole rant on that, which we'll get to if we continue to lose games. But we're going to keep moving on. There's bet on Romeo Doubs to score a touchdown here. That's all I got.
Okay.
It's not going to be a great game. That over and under is very.
Hey,
London's a hard game to bet, and the Packers are going to win. Jeff's an idiot.
Nope. Giants.
Chris, who'd you pick?
I picked the Packers.
There you go. All right, moving on. We got Seahawks and Saints. Let's start the round robin here. Seahawks.
That's what I took.
We all took the Seahawks.
Yep.
And you know what that means? Take the Saints.
Especially if I picked them.
Yeah, no, this is a good upset pick right here. I mean, the Seahawks are Geno Smith hates the world. He has never gotten over getting drafted in the second round, and he's finally getting a chance to make it as long as DK Metcalf can hold his get his poop schedule on time. Maybe the time zone difference is going to help him with that. I'm not sure. But let's move on to
Hold on. Speaking of Geno Smith, did you know that he can throw 34 passes straight into the ground and he still has a better completion rating than Russell Wilson?
Yep, I did see that.
I was like, that's a whole game's worth of passes you could just chuck into the ground and you still have a better passer rating.
Because Russell Wilson is coasting, whereas Geno Smith is proving himself. Also, Geno Smith has DK Metcalf.
True. Anyways, on to the next one.
We got Steelers and Bills. If you're feeling ballsy and you're a Pickett supporter, take the Steelers. Otherwise,
round robin.
Yeah, where's your round robin, Matt?
Don't round robin it.
I took the Steelers.
I took the Steelers.
I did not.
This is historic. 50 years, the Steelers have never been 2-point underdogs or 2 touchdown underdogs.
You sure about that?
Yeah, 50 years. Man, it's been all over the media, Matt.
Okay.
They're saying 50 years that the Steelers have not been rated underdogs by this much. I'm defying the odds. Buffalo's already on they're already on the Chiefs. That's all they care about right now.
50 years and sports betting really hasn't been legal until like.
It doesn't stop just because sports betting really hasn't been legal. Doesn't mean that there hasn't been.
Yeah, but there's no official book. There hasn't been an official book until 2 years ago. Because the Vegas odds were always, you could find different Vegas odds, and you had to be in a different country, and so that's a little BS stat for you.
I'm just saying.
I would entertain the over there. If Pickett decides to go full gunslinger and Pickens is going to be making one finger catches, we know what Josh Allen can do with the Bills. We know they can put up points.
I think
maybe this has potential to become a shootout. So get ready for Thursday Night Football Rewind. But no, yeah, I would.
It's gonna be like Super Bowl last year, where I was like, "This is gonna be a high-scoring game."
I would raise the over on this if you were looking to bet on something. I would also bet on Pat Freiermuth to score a touchdown.
I want Pickens Pickens. What's his yardage right now?
Yeah, they might be looking for him to just keep him out of the end zone. Let's keep moving. Vikings Bears. We're in the point in the season where the Vikings blow out a bad team. We had a big primetime loss. Well, we had offseason hype, sputter out of the gate. Big time primetime loss, squeak out a win. We're gonna blow out the Bears here.
Oh, so we all took the Vikings, so take the Bears.
Yep.
I'm taking the Vikings spread here. They're gonna win by more than 10. Keep her moving.
Bold move, Cotton. Bold move.
Now we'll see if it pays off. Texans and Jaguars. Jaguars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence is playing good, and Houston can't win a game to save their life. Dolphins and Jets. I'd probably take the Jaguars to cover that spread.
The Jaguars are going to cover the spread of the Dolphins and the Jets?
Sorry, I just went back. We circle back a lot here.
Circle back.
And you didn't scroll down, so I went back up.
You can see
it's on the screen.
I like it when it's in the middle.
Oh, Mickey Mouse.
And today, we're gonna take an upset here with the Jets. Add them to the round robin.
I took Miami. I think Bridgewater's going to pull it out.
Yeah, I took.
I think Zach Wilson knows what he's doing. I think the defense was there to play. I think they got good running backs. I don't think, we ignited our offense and were able to score 2 touchdowns and we still lost because the Jets were able to move the ball on our defense. That was fired up. I feel like the Jets are actually good.
By the end, though.
So I'm taking the Jets as an upset here.
That last drive, we had a lot of players that were in and out because of injury. You had Hayward that went out, but then he came back in. You had Mika that was in and out. You had so many players that were just in and out because of injury on that last drive. I'm not blaming the injury entirely, but you got to take into account we had a lot of rotation going on in that defense.
I think you got to give some credit to the Jets.
Well, I think the Jets offense
and the Dolphins are playing better than they are, and now they're going to crash back down and lose one to the Jets.
Nah, they're not going to lose 2 weeks in a row. Chris, who do you take?
I took the Dolphins.
Oh, look at that. Outvoted.
I'm taking the Jets. Okay. Yeah, Buccaneers.
Yeah, Tom Brady's going to be free soon, so he's not going to have any baggage anymore.
Well, he's got to get them incentives to pay for that lawyer.
No, you don't want those incentives.
It's more money.
I mean, Giselle's the breadwinner, so does she owe Tom child support?
I really feel like that should be a really easy divorce.
Yeah, I mean, like you have millions of dollars, you have millions of dollars. Hit, just
Take your own shit.
go. One gets the house in New England, one gets the house in Tampa.
And we all know the nanny's taking care of the kids anyway, so who the hell cares?
Exactly. Like I don't know, Giselle acts like she put her whole career on hold so that she could raise a family. It's like, that they probably have someone that has raised their kids.
All right, so this is all we're going to talk about with this game. They act like Tom Brady coming back is what ruined his whole family. Like, he wasn't doing a million other things. Like, he already signed on with Fox Sports.
Yeah.
And he was doing golf outings, appearances, commercials, movies. Like, freaking playing 17 games wasn't the breaking point here.
Well, it's all the practices and, But yet he was able to
days off.
Well, yeah, and he's allowed to, he took 2 weeks off at training camp.
Yeah, no, I don't want to buy too much into that TMZ shit.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Tampa Bay owns the Falcons. Take Tampa Bay. And they lost 2 in a row, so
I'm not putting Tom Brady to lose 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
We might eat our words next week.
I mean, if he does, I feel bad for any tablet in that stadium.
All right, so we're going to go from smashing tablets to biting kneecaps. And Bill Belichick's kneecaps are about to get bitten after that hissy fit he threw last week against the Packers. I mean, throwing a whole little fit because your team got an extra 5 seconds on the play clock. And then, they scored a touchdown on that. And then he's on the sideline throwing a hissy fit. And I'm like, why is he calling for a penalty on his own team? But no, he thought that the Packers got a freebie on the next play. And it's like, just screw them. I hope the Lions actually get a win here.
Yeah, I got the Lions taking the win.
Yeah, we all have the Lions. So probably not going to be good.
Yeah.
But put them in the round robin anyways.
Round robin.
And as always, take the Lions on the over because that always hits.
Which I called out last week.
Aren't they the number 1 scoring offense, but they have the worst defense?
Yep.
Jared Goff, number 3 in passing yards.
That is crazy.
Yep.
Especially with none of his. So missing your starting running back and your top 2 wide receivers. And you still put up that many points and somehow lose.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got Titans and Commanders. Jeff was on a Carson Wentz love fest, but I think he's over that, and we all went with the Titans.
Yep.
Yeah, I took Titans.
Chargers, Browns.
Let's go Chargers.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Chris, you got Chargers?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but have you found that our division is just so we're not out of the playoff race? Like, we're 1-3, but yet the rest of the division is 2-2.
I think the
one game out of it.
The wheels are falling off in Cleveland every week. I think.
Were the wheels on the start?
Yeah, they were. They won week 1, dumbass.
But does Cleveland ever have all 4 wheels?
You can go very far on 3.
They're just saying. I mean, Lamar's riding a unicycle carrying the whole team.
Cleveland's just, they're finding ways to lose. Browns are going to Brown. So take the Chargers. Moving on, we got Niners, Panthers. Baker Mayfield is a Brown at heart, so Browns are going to Brown. Take the Niners.
Yeah, we all took the Niners.
Yeah. So I'm sure Jimmy G will just shit the bed. So.
Yeah, we have to anti-talk all of our picks so we don't jinx ourselves.
Yeah.
To which I just jinxed all of our anti-talk.
No.
How about you're good? You didn't name him Beer Crack Player of the Game, so you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, Boswell's gonna freaking break his foot this week or something, kicking
I
a
swear to
frozen
God.
ball.
All right, moving on to the only thing that I can say with absolute certainty
Oh God, your
and
lock of
somehow
the week.
manage to not jinx myself. The Cardinals suck at home,
They do.
so the Eagles will win.
Yep. Unfortunately,
Make this your lock of the week.
I'm not willing to do that.
it is my lock of the week, so therefore take the Cardinals. I mean, I feel like the Eagles this week, they'll take the over on their own. But don't worry, it'll be a close game.
I just, maybe if DeAndre Hopkins was back, maybe it could be close. Because the Cardinals do win one game at home a year. That's about it. They'll win 1-2.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eagles at 4-0. They're not slowing down here.
Isn't that crazy that they're like the only dominant team in the NFC?
I wouldn't call them dominant though.
The Eagles?
Yes, they're 4-0, but how many points have they given up? They've almost lost almost all their games.
Except for that game against your fantasy player of the week.
Okay, one game they were dominant.
Destroyed him.
Look, we had a dominant game where we were like, hey, look at our defense. You see how well that worked out for us?
Well, our defense got hurt.
And tired.
No,
No.
it's kind of weird. The Eagles have played. They've played like they don't play the first quarter every time, but then they get it together. It's almost like the Chiefs last year where they got bored, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we still got to play the game."
Like, oh, we might lose.
Yeah, but they might lose, but they're not going to lose here. They're going to lose at some point in the season, just not this week. So Eagles all day.
Yep.
I'd probably take them to cover that spread. The Cardinals suck at home. Cowboys Rams. This is a toss up, guys.
I'm taking Cowboys.
Is Cooper Rush the real deal? Is Jerry Jones going to force him to take a dive?
I think Cooper Rush wins, and when Dak returns, Dak will lose his first two games back.
Well, Dak's pushing to play this game.
Yeah,
because he doesn't want Cooper Rush to go 3-0.
He's already 3-0.
Sorry, 4-0.
The only loss the Cowboys have is the one that Dak played.
Exactly. So if Cooper Rush goes 4-0, and then Dak comes back and loses 2, he's 0-3. He's 4-0. Who do you start the next week?
I don't know who I was listening to, but I don't think you put. I agree with whoever I was listening to. You can't put Dak in until Rush loses.
No, you can put Dak back in because he costs $45 million a year.
What happens though if you put Dak in and he does what Jeff says, he loses 2 games in a row?
What happens if you know damn well you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round, but instead you sign a guy that you think is going to start? You get a shit show. Jerry Jones loves shit shows. Anything to keep his name on the headlines. Keep the Cowboys in the news. Put Dak Prescott back in. They suck. It doesn't matter. It's there's no such thing as bad press. And then the Rams. Stafford is falling into the same problem that he had in Detroit when Megatron was there. Called, I can only see one receiver.
Let's just move on to the Bengals-Ravens game.
Yeah, I got the Bengals with the upset here. What do you guys got?
I got Bengals.
And I have the Ravens.
Yeah, I think Jeff and I are on the same line with we got it 35-31. So take the over. It's going to be a high scoring affair. I think John Harbaugh makes all the right calls to blow it at the end.
I mean, the typical Harbaugh fashion.
Yeah, but they lost last week. You think the Ravens will lose 2 in a row?
It's whatever the probabilities say to do. Whatever the stats say is the best thing to do. And whatever gives them the best chance at winning in the now and not at the end of the game is what John's going to do. So, and I think the Bengals are getting it together. I think Jamar Chase has been quiet the last couple of weeks. I think he's going to go off. I'm hoping he goes off because I drafted him in fantasy.
He'll go off.
All right.
He'll get ejected out of the game. That's my big prediction of the week is that Jamar Chase gets kicked out of the game.
That's a great one for you, Jeff. That gives me a chance. Let's move on to another game that is gonna be some fireworks going on. This is Raiders Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be the exact opposite of Broncos Colts.
Oh yeah. I still think the Chiefs take it. They own the West, so I mean, I'm taking it.
Chiefs take it because Josh McDaniels sucks. And the Raiders should have just kept their interim head coach. I forget his name at this point, but
I have this one being 41-28.
Was it Rick Visaccio or something like that?
Something like that. I think it was Vic or Rick. Something, I don't know.
Rick.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I think they should have stayed with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the Chiefs just going out scoring 5 touchdowns, 35-21.
Is that really the Thursday night game next week?
What?
Commanders Bears.
My God, Amazon Prime is their stock's gonna drop. Okay, back to the other one. Sorry. On stock reports, sell off Amazon. You're gonna lose your ass.
Wait, no, that's the Monday night game.
No, that's the Monday night game's the Raiders Chiefs. I just didn't crop it again, guys.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I put, like I said, I put the Chiefs 41-28 over the Raiders. I just think the Chiefs are going to do what they did against Tampa Bay, and they're going to
Patrick Mahomes is pissed.
Yeah.
He was pissed about that Super Bowl, and I think the Chiefs are still pissed about when the Raiders won in Kansas City and did circles around the stadium and the bus. Yeah, Chiefs are going to win this one. I would take the Chiefs spread. Chiefs spread with the over. That's my lock of the week is Chiefs.
Oh God.
So take the Raiders.
Yeah. Who'd you guys put for the most points scored this week?
I don't know. I don't have my thing open.
I took the Lions.
It's probably a good bet.
The Patriots have a pretty good defense.
Nah, I'm taking the Lions. They're gonna bite some kneecaps.
All right, so let's just show our picks here real quick. These are all what we chose. I know we just went over them, but that's what we got.
All right, so let's just look at it real quick. So we have Jeff has 2 lone wolves, I have 2 lone wolves, and Chris has 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Chris is lone wolfing the lone wolf.
Yeah.
We're about to. There's gonna be a lot of upsets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Commanders are gonna win. The Texans are gonna win. The Panthers are gonna win.
Cardinals are gonna win at home.
Cardinals are gonna win.
Nah.
I mean, the Colts won, so look at that. We all chose the Broncos.
Yeah. No, I think this is going to be a good week for all of us.
Wait, how's the Giants Packers already listed as a loss?
I put an L there as London.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. This is a loss for both teams. They're going to tie.
Well, they both lose 5 hours, so you know.
Yeah, it is a loss.
One loses 6.
And it won't matter.
Yes, it will.
All right, so you want to get into our fantasy players of the week?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and lead us off there, Chris.
Okay.
All right. Well, so I had 2 just in case. But I'm gonna go with Pickens because Pickett is gonna throw to Pickens all day long.
Okay.
Even though we're going against the Bills defense, doesn't matter.
I'm also going to jump on the Pickett train and pick another receiver. The Bills are number 2 against tight ends. FanDuel hates this guy. They think that he's never going to get more than 40 yards receiving. They think he's going to catch, maybe 2 passes. They don't think he's ever going to score a touchdown. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. It's Pat Fryer Smooth.
For my pick, I'm going to go with his backup quarterback. He's starting. Tua's out. So Teddy Bridgewater, I think if he had a whole week of work with the offense, that they would have actually won their last game. So I'm going with Teddy Bridgewater this week. I think he's going to have a decent game. And one of the things that we didn't really explain before we did this part was these are all players that are available for under $7,500 in FanDuel.
Yeah,
So
Pat Fryermuth was for $5,800. If you guys want to say what
Teddy Bridgewater was, I do believe, $6,400.
Pickens was 55.
Yep.
So those are
all
value picks.
Yep. If you've been following this for the last several weeks, you'll rightfully sit my player.
Yeah, well, you have an impressive ability to pick horrible players.
I don't even know how. Like, it's a player will be having an excellent season. I pick them. They're done.
Yeah, it's kind of like your jinx last year.
Yeah. Well, we don't make any of those predictions anymore.
No, we don't.
So I think from what Chris and I were saying about our fantasy players is we're looking for our offense to really take a step forward and score a lot of points. You're looking for a 30-point game. Maybe this is it. I'm hoping for Pickett to have 300 passing yards.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
I mean, I'm looking for the defense to have another stout game. If the offense can bring it, we're going to have a rested defense. What can our rested defense do? But, the other thing comes down to, what Bills team are we going to reach? What Bills team are we going to see?
Right.
Are we going to see a Bills team that wants to beat the Steelers? Or are we going to see a Bills team that is already focused on Kansas City?
I think we're going to see a Bills team that's focused on Kansas City, but we absolutely can't sleep on them.
Right? No.
I think they might sleep on us, and that's our only chance.
I think us being rated as such underdogs is firing the team up a little bit.
Typically, whoever has the highest spread differential, they meet the spread. So
right. There we go.
So we have a chance to not get murdered.
Yeah, we have a chance. So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance any given Sunday, especially Monday.
All right. Well, I think we've gone way too long. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week on the Rooney Toon Report.
Here we go.
Choo choo. Get on the Pickett train.
Pickett.
What does the letter P stand for today?
Good thing you asked, Chris. This year's letter. Oh, fuck. Welcome to the Rooney Toon. Oh, fuck. Welcome to the Rooney Toon Report. This week's letter is the letter P.
What does the letter P stand for?
That sounded forced. It sounded forced. P.
What does the letter P stand for?
Good thing you asked, Chris. This week, the letter P stands for I totally fucked off. Damn it. This episode is brought to you by Boot Barn. If you want some new boots, go to Boot Barn.
Did you fuck your boot up by drinking a beer because you swore somebody wasn't going to get fired?
Go to Boot Barn. They got plenty
Go
of
to
boots.
Boot Barn. They got you covered. Get yourself a boot koozie. Shouldn't have to drink a warm boot beer. So we're going to go from busting tablets to... Damn it.
Smashing tablets.
And what do we eat? We're eating kneecaps or
Fighting.
What is wrong with you? Did you have a stroke or something?
Oh, God.
I was doing some research of my own, and I was looking at bye weeks and who's going to make the Super Bowl. And the Steelers have a chance because teams who have a week 9 bye go to the Super Bowl.
So
However, so does Indianapolis and Green Bay also are in that, so that's my pick.